Nicholas curled his knees to his chest, his heels pressing into the shakes of the roof to keep from sliding. The bitter wind slashed his face like a whip, a punishment, perhaps for not being tucked in bed with the other children. He needed to see for himself. Alias and Lula told him the stories, the caroling, the feasts. Christmas Eve was rumored to be the happiest of nights, full of love and laughter. Children dressed in their finest as families celebrated a man he had yet to understand. He'd heard the tales, memorized the scriptures, but his heart longed to understand more than Father Kroll's required lecture in class. Nicholas yearned to feel Christmas. A deep ache he couldn't ease burned to experience the true meaning. Hidden behind the lengthy texts and solemn prayers he hadn't quite conquered. If Nicholas could grasp it, maybe he could teach the other children at the orphanage. Maybe then his own family would come back for him. "Heavens, Nicholas, you'll get us all in trouble," Lula whispered from the small window above his head. Nicholas peered over his shoulder and grinned as Lula's pale blonde hair whipped around her angelic face. Her disapproving stare did little to threaten when backed with the warmth of her dark brown eyes. He'd marry her one day. She just didn't know it yet. "Come out here, Lula. You can see through the window at the Swansky house." "I don't want to see Tom Swansky, Nicholas. He throws blood in my hair and calls Alias a dwarf. Tom's awful." With a short stature and lack of neck, Alias took the brunt of teasing from the town. Alias couldn't help his size. Tom Swansky was a jerk, and everyone knew it. Nicholas's chest puffed out in defense of his friends. "I'll deal with Tom. Don't you worry." Lula leaned forward. "Please, Nicholas. Please come inside." "Look, Lula, Tom's tearing paper from that box. What is he doing?" Lula peered from the safety of the opened window. "It's a present. I told you about the gifts, remember?" Nicholas's eyes widened in wonder at the small wooden train Tom pulled from the box. The hateful, spoiled boy ran the toy along the floor in front of a large pine tree adorned with colorful paper cutouts of stars and angels. All at once Tom ran from the room toward his mother, the train forgotten. What Nicholas would do to receive something so wonderful! More than that, to run into the arms of someone so inviting, caring. What had Tom done to deserve such a gift? Better yet, how awful Nicholas must have been to be deserted by his family, to be left unloved and alone. His eyes drifted down to the threadbare pants, an inch too short, the faded cotton shirt he'd worn for 3 days. Who would want to take him home? He knew the answer. Nobody. "Nicholas, I'm cold," Lula shivered, her arms tight around her chest as she ducked inside the shelter of the orphanage. Nicholas snapped from his daze of self-pity and crawled up the crumbling shakes of the roof. 1 foot at a time he climbed through the window frame, then looked back at the cottage on the corner celebrating Christmas. That would be him one day. Christmas Eve night would be filled with wonder and magic. He and Lula would celebrate for days after, singing glory to the Savior. Christmas would change everything. He knew it.